Whoa. Hi everyone, it's Jennifer McCreath, August 21st, 2013. An issue that came up here in this city a year ago was with regards to pedestrian safety. A young lady was tragically killed while crossing the street on Thorburn Road. This led to a public outcry, sympathy of course, and a petition by local neighborhood residents to request a crosswalk to be put in. The petition was tabled at City Council. This was more, I think, a year ago, if not longer. I was part of the petition. I signed it. I was there in the gallery when it was presented. Almost a year went by, and we had heard nothing. So I decided on June 17th to email our city councilor and ask what's going on with this. I'll come right out and tell you what I sent. Debbie Hanlon, Ward 4 rep. I emailed her. Hi Debbie, I'm generally curious to get an update on the status of the traffic review of the Wigmore Court and Thorburn Road intersection area. Would love to hear from you. That was June 17th. She wrote back, responding immediately, thanks for contacting me. I'm copying our city traffic engineer so he may answer your questions. I do not have a recent update. I'm also copying Councillor Hickman. Sandy Hickman will be assisting me with issues in Ward 4. In hopes to ensure consistency and also make things don't slip through the cracks. We will be in touch. So fast forward almost a month later, I finally hear back from someone. July 15th. Hello, Ms. McCreath. I apologize for the delay. In the update you requested, Police and Traffic Committee discussed traffic on Thorburn Road at 2 meetings last fall. The minutes are provided. Police and Traffic Committee, October 4th, 2012. Delegation from the Thorburn Road area. The committee met with Dale Kirby, MHA, hope you can see me while I'm reading this, MHA for St. John's North, and Mrs. June Sharp regarding the unsafe region of Thorburn Road, particularly in the area where a young lady, Erin Bursey, lost her life in June 2012 as a result of a pedestrian vehicle accident. Ms. Sharp requested that a new crosswalk be constructed on Thorburn Road in the area of the North Atlantic gas station, that the traffic light at the intersection Thorburn and Mount Sire have the time changed to give pedestrians more time to cross. 3. That a sign be placed at the intersection of Thorburn and Mount Sire facing north, warning drivers of crosswalks to be aware of pedestrians. Discussion took place with respect to the pros and cons of installing an additional crosswalk. City Transportation Engineer advised that the configuration of crosswalks at Thorburn Road is similar to those in other places in the city where motorists are required to yield to the right-of-way of pedestrians. The committee recommends. The Royal Newfoundland Constabulary provide a written report on the accident that took place on Thorburn Road in June 2012, including any recommendations for modification that might lend itself to improved safety. City staff review the timing of the pedestrian lights at the crosswalk with the intent that any pedestrian would be out in the street prior to the illumination of the motorist green light. City staff review the shadowing from commercial and/or street lights to see if modifications will make the area more visible for pedestrians and/or motorists. The committee then met 4 weeks later on October 31st, 2012. The committee considered a report from the RNC which provided the city with the results of a review of the section of Thorburn Road, which arose because of fatal pedestrian vehicle collision in the area earlier in the summer. While not a major contributing factor in the collision, the report states that lighting in the area could pose a safety risk. The city's transportation engineer noted that he viewed the area at night and indicated it is well illuminated, although a report from Newfoundland Power is still pending. The RNC also suggests that a bus stop in the area which might impede a pedestrian's view be relocated. It is my understanding that this incident occurred at a time that there was a stopped bus in the vicinity. That's probably why that's in there. By the way, I'm not revealing anything that's not already public knowledge here. These minutes are available for public consumption, just so you know. There is no breach of confidentiality or privacy in anything I am saying in this video. Where was I? The report is not about the collision, as the Access to Information and Protection of Privacy Act and the Highway Traffic Act regulate the flow of information about collisions. That's a whole other issue, a provincial issue we can talk about later. The committee expressed concern with the introduction of this restriction, as often the city relies on details to rectify a potential traffic hazard. To this end, it was agreed that the matter be referred to the city's legal department with a view to engaging in a discussion with the RNC to see how both the RNC and the city can share information on this in future incidents that will enable the city to evaluate its traffic infrastructure and make necessary improvements to protect the safety of the public. Basically what that means is we as a city cannot make improvements if we don't have the information needed about the problems. Now, okay, the minutes are over, and now here's the text from the city person that wrote me back. As noted in the minutes, the committee did discuss the request to install an additional crosswalk between the two existing signaling crossings at Moss Heather Drive and Mount Sire Road. The Traffic Division recommended against the installation of a third crossing because of the close proximity of the first two. Guidelines from the Transportation Association of Canada recommended a minimum distance of 200 meters between signaling crossings to ensure that they do not interfere with each other and impair the safety of pedestrians using crossings. If placed halfway between the two existing crossings, the distance would only be 140 meters. The committee accepted this recommendation. Since the last meeting, Traffic Division staff received the report from Newfoundland Power on the illumination levels of Thorburn Road, which indicated they are adequate for the roadway. Traffic Division also investigated the location of the bus stop in front of Marie's Mini Mart. Decision has been made in discussion with Metrobus to relocate the bus stop to a location northwest of Mount Sire Road, not because we feel it represents a potential site distance obstruction as per the RNC suggestion, but because we want to encourage pedestrians to use crosswalks or traffic signals to cross instead of at a mid-block location. The operation of the traffic signal at Thorburn and Mount Sire has been reviewed by Traffic Division staff and no issues have been identified. We have received complaints about motorists failing to yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk, but this is an enforcement issue which will have to be addressed by the RNC. Should you require any further information or with to discuss, please get in touch. That from Don Corner, Traffic Division, Department of Public Works, City of St. John's. Gee, that was a mouthful. Bottom line, as tough as it is to, I guess, have to recognize the crosswalk situation, the stoplight situation, it's all sufficient within regulations. The last piece there is the one that concerns me the most, the fact that drivers are supposedly not yielding appropriately to pedestrians. Pedestrians at crosswalk do have right-of-way, and motorists need to stop for them. And it is an enforcement issue. It didn't come up in there, but one thing I know is a serious challenge Thorburn Road is speeding. How do we slow down drivers who are driving too fast? How do we make sure they stop for pedestrians? Two potential ideas would be to decrease the speed limit, although that doesn't necessarily guarantee that people will slow down. Another thing we could do is put in a speed bump or two. People know there's a speed bump, they're going to be forced to slow down, otherwise they're going to trash their car. I guess a third thing we can do is have more police presence out there. Spend more time sitting at that intersection. Pull over the speeders. Pull over those that don't yield to pedestrians and issue them tickets or fines or whatever. Bottom line, that accident happened June, July, August, 14 months ago, and I walk up and down that. I go to the store, Mount Sire Road, Marie's Mini Mart. I'm in that neighborhood quite a lot. I see that the traffic driving by there is very scary and dangerous. I see people running red lights. I see people not yielding to pedestrians. I'm glad that the city has taken a look at this, and but I'm not satisfied that the problem has been resolved. Let's get down to my campaign. I'm running for city council. I'm a pedestrian. I walk all over the city. I do not own a car. This is not the only intersection that troubles me. There are several other roads, either that don't have crosswalks in suitable locations, or they do have crosswalks and cars are not yielding to them. I propose, and if you elect me to city council, I will push for this, to do whatever it takes to make the drivers safe for pedestrians. We need to force people to slow down. We need to force people to yield to pedestrians at crosswalks. Speed bumps have proven successful in many other parts of the world. We don't have a lot of speed bumps here. I'd like to look at that, folks. Not guaranteeing I'm going to put them in right away, but I want to look at this. Yeah, what do you think, folks? Pedestrians, would love to hear from you. Have any close calls? Email me, write me. Let's talk. Let's work together. Let's come up with a solution. Whether I get on city council or not, this is something I'm going to continue to fight for. info@jennifermcreath.com, 709-753-9529. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching. We appreciate your vote. I'm Jennifer McCreath.